welcome to episode 37 of Toast the Toss. After a year of starting this, we are finally doing an in-person show. Who do we have? On my left, we have somebody whose name is always used to start something auspicious. So we have Vinayak on my left. Welcome, Vinayak. And on my right, I have a Kashyap who is known for his straight cut thoughts and who doesn't mince his words, but whose words are always worth in gold. Welcome, Abhinav Kashyap.
Hello.
And myself, Suraj. So let's get started, gentlemen. Let's get started with the test, the fifth test. Now, the question I have for both of you is: had India continued to play in the schedule which was last year, would we have a better chance of doing a 3-1 rather than a final result of 2-2?
I mean, obviously in hindsight we can talk about that, and I think it would have been a better situation for us. Our team was in the best of forms. We had our openers. We had things sorted out. I mean, basically we had match practice coming into the last match, and England was their mind space was screwed up. So we had the best artillery to drill in and get it over with. But COVID is what it is. We got the I think it helped us a bit with the mental framework in Australia. In hindsight, again, not a ideal scenario, but I think it screwed it up for us this time. So yeah, I think it would have been better.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt about it. I think we know that just the momentum that we were carrying into the test last time when the test happened was so much more powerful than what we had going in today. And of course, England also, as this test happened, England came in with a lot of positive momentum, and the conditions were so radically different.
Yeah.
You know, we were acclimatized to the conditions last time, we were on top of it, and suddenly it's a very different England that we were playing cricket in, right? So, no doubts about that.
I'm also thinking, is it the Duke's ball, right? It did seem like the Duke's ball did a fantastic job last time when compared to this time. The whole talk about the Duke's ball going soft after 30-40 overs, and it was more pronounced in the second innings. Would you guys agree?
But again, it was the same for both of us, right? Both the teams. So even, I mean, yeah, India did make a hash of it in the second innings. So we didn't play as well as we did in the first one. We had Pant and Jadeja to take care of it after the ball went soft. This time, unfortunately, we didn't have enough people to take care of it and push the lead to maybe 450 or 450 plus. We should have done that. We had the time to do that.
But I think the Duke's ball was a little bit of a googly for us, right? Because we are used to, and last time we were so threatened and so scared with the Duke's ball that keeps swinging till over 50, till over 60, that we went in with that mindset. And I could see that with the normal Duke's ball as it was last year, a lead of about 300, whatever we had, we would have been celebrating. You know, match done, we won this. There's no way in hell England is going to come back and score that much. But it wasn't the case, right? Also add to it the fact that a dangerous Duke's ball under deteriorated pitches is much harder to play. Now on day 4, day 5 especially, the pitch gave nothing, the Duke's ball gave less than nothing, and it was just a walk in the park for them, right?
Yeah.
So, clearly different conditions. As you said, COVID is what COVID is, and apparently that's why the Duke's ball is soft. They couldn't get the resources to manufacture, to roll out the original Duke's ball. So we're soon going to start seeing, like how they say, Lonavala, Maganlal Chiki, real Chiki, real Chiki. We're going to see Duke's ball plus, original Duke's ball, real and original Duke's ball. Something like that, thanks to COVID.
I still can't fathom the fact, right? I mean, they're saying because of COVID, they're not able to get enough resources to produce the right Duke's ball, which to me was I was laughing and falling off my chair, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. I just read, I mean, just aside, I just read in the papers today about the Apple M2 MacBook Air. They are going back to the old 30 connector setup instead of the MagSafe because they are not able to get enough supplies. So if a company like Apple has facing this issue, I mean, cricket is just
You know what? I think Apple has probably not changed some important port in the last 30 seconds, so that's probably why they changed it. But notwithstanding any of that stuff, changing the Duke's ball was a big googly for us.
I think we should just say we love Windows, but jokes apart. Okay, just coming back to what do you think England did different in the second innings when compared to India? Or was India complacent? Because they went in with what, 130 plus odd lead, and then they thought maybe a 350 plus score in the fourth innings was enough to decimate the English side?
Yeah, I think it was just a mental game at that point. England sitting in that dressing room knew that given the conditions, 350 is not really difficult for them to chase down. But we probably had a little bit of a hangover of playing scary cricket in England, saying 350, fourth innings, fourth and fifth day, no chance in hell. And turns out our bowlers weren't able to turn out what they were used to turning out, and the batsmen from England just took it away.
A slightly different viewpoint, as in, yes, during batting, I think that's what we were thinking about as 350 is enough. But I think also the psychological thing of, Basball and everybody saying that England can chase down anything. That sort of, I think, weighed on our bowlers, and they started letting it go even when say the openers were going hammer and tongs, and sort of we let loose after that. Probably, I don't know.
So my question to Basball, right, and that's an important thing we should speak about is: do you think Basball is successful? Or let me put it this way, right? Did Basball become successful because of the soft Duke's ball? Or did they come up with Basball because they knew they had a soft Duke's ball? Right? Because if it was the Duke's ball as it was last year, Basball would have ruined them. Right? They would have probably seen a 36 all out. I know things like that are reserved only for the Indian squad, but
hey, they have a 50 all out or something like that also, so we are equal offenders. But yeah, that's the thing about Basball. I mean, it's the Basball, Amazeball, pant balls, and everything. We're talking about everything. But the test will be when they get to India, or when they get to out of the English conditions,
the comfort zone.
We'll see where they are.
But I mean, the difference been for me is the reason I think Basball is working is I want to figure out what are they feeding Johnny Bairstow. What is it that he's fed on that he's in the purple patch of his life? He's been playing for what, 10 years? He's never been a regular in and out of the test side, and suddenly in the last 4 test matches, whatever he does is successful. So I don't know what they're feeding him, or is it finally that they have an aggressor whom they can bank on, plus Root is in good form, and the fact that they knew the Duke's ball goes soft. It could be a combination of everything.
Root's been in good form since the time Root's been around. But I also think Johnny Bairstow is a player like that, right? He's always been on the collar, right? He's never been a player to hold back. Yeah. He's been, you come at me, I come even more aggressively at you. And I'm very happy to see this form of Bairstow because I've always rated him as an excellent batsman. You see it in just the heart he displays on the field, right? Even while fielding, he's a wicket keeper, but you see him chase down the ball. He's absolutely there, 100% commitment, and I like that in a batsman, cricketer, of course. So yeah.
Pardon my IPL ignorance, but didn't he have a bad season in the IPL this time?
I think he started bad and then made up.
Okay.
But
so it was reserved for the Indians. The show was reserved for Indians.
The Indians and the Kiwis.
Yeah.
So and I think even last time the Kiwis played a couple of test matches before India went in. Yeah. Same thing they did this time. I think England's been smarter with their scheduling and said, before the main guys come in, let's get some practice with the Kiwis. Just one last thing about the test, right? I mean, pivotal point, 4th innings, 107 for 3, England. It seemed like the momentum had swung after that amazing opening partnership which England had. And then you have a catch drop in the slip cordon by Hanuma Vihari. Now the question I have is, Gill had done fabulously well in the slips. There was Kohli who continues to be there. And then I think there was Iyer in the first innings. Was that a tactical mistake again by Bumrah being the new captain, not having a settled slip cordon? Had India taken that, it could have been a different game.
I think you're narrowing down to a very small aspect of the game, in my opinion. Genuinely, the confidence and the ease with which England played down, I don't believe it would have made a big difference. But it very well might have been a pivotal moment. But in the grand scheme of events, if you're telling me that one fielder being in the slip cordon would have changed the match for us, I find that hard to believe.
Yeah. And India, traditionally, I mean, we have been lackadaisical with having these fixed positions and specialists. I mean, we have had some of them, but maintaining them, we have taken it for granted. I feel over the years, it's not a recent phenomenon. So maybe Bumrah was just following the lead, probably. I don't know.
Let's say we're just generous.
Yeah.
So the other question is now the Ashwin question, which has plagued us last year, which continues to plague us this year. Would Ashwin have made a difference?
I am a big Ashwin fan in the Test specifically, and I would like to believe so. Shardul, I mean, he has done fabulously well in Australia. I mean, he is fan for life for what he did in Australia. But if you have to pick somebody on performance and skill for a Test match, I would still go with Ashwin, especially considering what Leach did in the last Test match against the Kiwis. And I mean, there was some purchase. We didn't have Ashwin. Even Jadeja was terribly underbowled if I had to look at it from that perspective. So maybe there is some inexperience, but I don't think we should hold it against the. I mean, it can be put down to that as well. He has enough advisors in the stands as well to tell him about that. So yeah, somewhere some strategy. I think Ashwin should have been there. That's my.
I'm happy. I was quite happy with the balance of the side. Few batsman positions here and there which we missed due to unavoidable circumstances, but on the whole, I was quite happy with the squad. Ashwin. Also think about the last time we played a Test that went down to day 5. Right? It's not something that we see often today in Test match cricket. So you think of a Test match in England where typically spinners only come into play on day 4 and day 5. And you think back to how often we've gone to day 4 and day 5, it's not been too often. So, in hindsight, would we have loved Ashwin there? Of course. But going into the Test, would I have picked Ashwin? I'm not so convinced I would have. I think I like the squad, especially the bowling side of the squad in this Test.
Okay. Just looking forward, right? Looking forward to what do we think the squad should be as we move forward? We've seen it's been a squad of musical chairs, of course, some injuries, COVID concerns and everything. But if I were to ask the both of you, what should be our ideal squad for Tests?
I think we need a consistent opening pair, and it's a little hard to say. After a long time, we have a lot of good contenders for opening, but we need to find a way to keep them all COVID-free and in a healthy condition to keep playing. I think number 3 should probably stay Pujara for some time, and number 4 I would bring Mayank instead of Kohli. I personally believe,
that's a big call, but
I believe Kohli needs to be given the axe. It's been a long time. Let him go down to domestic cricket, get a couple of triple centuries under his belt, come back with confidence and dominate. But right now he's in the team as a cheerleader, a fantastic cheerleader. I'll give you that. There's nobody else in the team that's cheering anyone else along as hard as Kohli is. But he needs to be there as a batsman first and foremost, which at the moment, sadly, he's simply not performing. So we need a better batsman in that spot because that's the backbone, right?
But I mean, Nas and Davish Shastri and everybody want him to go take a sabbatical for 3 months, sit on a beach, just chill with family and just come back and play. And they believe he is going to be fabulous.
Look, he needs that sabbatical. He needs 3 months with his family on a beach, followed by 9 months in Ranji Trophy or Duli Trophy or somewhere where he can. I mean, come on, people say, I remember in this IPL we were saying, oh, he's got a 50, he's come back. Well, Virat Kohli, for God's sake. You can't measure him by 50s, you've got to measure him by triple centuries.
Absolutely.
And the man hasn't scored anywhere near where he should be in years, right? So he should go into Ranji and dominate the living daylights, scare the living daylights out of every other bowler and come back with that aggression.
I'll tell you what Bami Army put out today. They put out a tweet today or yesterday which said, Johnny Bairstow has scored more runs in the last 45 days in comparison to what Kohli has scored. 25 days. In comparison to what Kohli has scored in what, 18 months?
18 months, yeah.
I mean, you'll find, if you actually go down the statistics, Ali, you'll find a lot of cricketers who scored a lot more runs than he has.
Yeah.
But,
Even in the Indian tails, unfortunately. So, yeah. I mean, Kohli is a controversial topic, right? I completely agree. I think in this, it's a more mental thing. He needs a break. Whether he goes back to domestic cricket or no is a different scenario. But he definitely needs to take a break. Mayank is an interesting choice. I would say Gill, because the opening spot, I think it will get back to Rohit and Rahul. I don't see Gill being there. Gill could be an interesting fit in the middle order. He deserves a chance there. I mean, Mayank also, but then it's going to be like everything with Indian cricket going on. We have all these riches, and it's going to be who do you fit where and who
look,
takes it.
with KL around, you're never guaranteed that he's going to turn up. Okay? The same with Rohit. The poor man hasn't turned up for most matches that he should have been as captain after taking over captaincy. Right? So I would put Gill in there as a floating opener, with KL and Rohit sharing the load. I want Mayank at number 4 because he's that batsman who can, I feel at least, take a little more mature approach to the game, which is what we need out of 4. But I may be wrong. You remember Rohit actually got into the Test squad at number 5.
Yeah.
And he's been a revelation since, right? So I don't know. I just feel Mayank is a little more mature to play number 4.
So what do you guys think about 5?
Don't touch it.
But 5 is Iyer right now.
Oh, is it? I thought it was
Yeah.
Rishabh.
Oh yeah, okay. Okay, Rishabh at 5, fair enough. Or 6.
Hardik Pandya.
With Kung Fu Pandya coming back to form. But we don't know if he's fit enough for Test, but yeah, if he is fit enough for Test, then yeah.
So you bring in Hardik Pandya and Ravi Jadeja, you got that fantastic powerhouse for any format of the game for India. They're two wonderful all-rounders with bat and ball, and you cover seam and spin. So I think that's fantastic.
Got it. So okay, and then we go with Bumrah, Shami. I mean, there's no questions about it. Siraj versus Ashwin.
I don't think there's a question about that as well. I think Siraj is the outright winner there. The only question again would be if Hardik is replacing Shreyas, then with Hardik in place, we don't need a Shardul.
Exactly. So I think for me, it would depend on where we are playing. If we are playing in conditions where Ashwin would come in, we could bring in Ashwin, Jadeja and sacrifice Pandya for it. But if it's again seam-friendly conditions, this should be the squad in my opinion. But then I do have a PhD in picking sides on my own with no absolute basis for it. So.
Don't we all?
Alright, just before we move to the exciting T20 internationals, any last comments on this Test series? I mean, personally for me, yes, India did lose, but it's been an exciting Test match. I wouldn't say that I was disappointed. Of course, I was greedy as an Indian fan to want India to win 3-1, but I thought they did fantastically well to recover from where they were in the first innings to post that 400 plus. Second innings, okay, England did bowl much better. And somehow, in the last innings, it didn't turn out on our side. But I thought overall, this Test match was one of the most exciting, like the other 4 in the series.
Absolutely. I think till the last innings, even the second innings, Indian second innings, in hindsight, it seems inadequate. But I thought we did put up a fight there as well. So from that aspect, I mean, all we want is a good fight. It doesn't matter who wins, who loses, but we were looking for a good fight till the 4th innings where England blew us away. I think we were we were doing pretty good. I enjoyed the Test match.
Yeah, as much as I tend to agree with you, the Test match was fantastic. I absolutely loved the Test match. But I can't let you run away on a very happy note. So I feel if I look at where this Test match was, this Test series was when we left it, we had dominated Australia, we had dominated England, we were getting ready to go dominate South Africa. Suddenly, we've only dominated Australia, we've tied with England and got screwed over in South Africa. So, you win some, you lose some, but a draw is always good.
Alright, on that note, let's move to the next part of the series, which is the T20 internationals. The second one got completed yesterday, India leading 2-0. They pretty much won the T20 internationals. Now, the first point, was the surprise move from the Indian side yesterday, getting Rishabh Pant to open.
I loved it. I think the process of the thought process seems to be in the right place. In both the in both the T20s, the batsmen have come attacking from the point from ball one. I think that's a great thing to do. I mean, everybody else is doing it. Why not us? Kind of a thing. It's not a new thing. It's just that we are catching up with the world, and even Rohit for that matter, and Pant seems to be a great addition to that. He was an opener in his under 19, if I'm not mistaken, and he's getting back to that position. So I all power to that. It helps us if it helps us fit in Karthik as well. Again, another plus. I think I didn't expect us to win yesterday, so that's a icing on the cake. But the thought process behind the batting moves, I think, is great.
I think that Karthik point is an interesting one. The reason I believe Pant can be sent to the top is because we now have or we think we have a finisher in Dinesh Karthik and maybe the return to form of Hardik Pandya. Would you agree?
Yeah, look, I'm not a fan of Pant as an opener. For a simple reason, I believe we are trying to force fit Pant. We've got a lot of proven openers that should be having that spot. I don't understand why we have to force Pant into that spot, right? Karthik, of course, I think he's de facto finisher for India at the moment. Definitely in T20s, I see him as a wicketkeeper finisher for us, which begs the question, why are we forcing Pant? It's not like he's out of the Indian squad. He can be a backup for some time, unless and until we need to actually bring him in, right? So the only point where I see the relevance of Pant as an opener is having a left-hander in the opening, which I believe we need to do. We are short on left-handers. I'm happy to see Jadeja smashing the ball around, but we need another left-hander in there, man.
So if not Pant, who would you? What would your choice be?
It's a little difficult, right? Like to me, I'm still baffled as to why we dropped Shikhar, but then there's other alternates. There's Devdutt Padikkal who we could be grooming. Right? But even if we don't bring in that left-hand, right-hand combination, KL and Rohit are a good opening pair for us. Why are we bringing others? And there's Ruturaj, who's again a fantastic opener for us to look at, right? So bringing Pant in there is just us forcing someone into a spot. He did well, which I'm happy. Sorry, the last thing on the point of openers is I'm so pleased to see how Rohit Sharma flips a switch. IPL, the man couldn't connect bat with ball, and suddenly he's
Somebody was telling that maybe it's he's a great captain, and I think Sanjay Manjrekar was mentioning that yes, but it's also the resources which the captain has at his disposal, because the same captain come Mumbai Indians, they had a terrible season, whereas India T20 squad the last two matches have been great. Now on that, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, I want you guys to talk about Bhuvaneshwar Kumar. Is this the best of Bhuvi we've seen in the recent times? When I say recent, I mean the last 2-3 years.
I love the man. So I am rooting for him to win. I am rooting for him to do good. I would love to see him on the plane to Australia. The question remains though, do the conditions suit him? Will he be on the plane? I don't know. I would love for him to do well.
I can't agree more. I think Bhuvi is a guy that he's been a workhorse for India when he's been around. He's done a fantastic job. I'd love to see him on the squad. I hope he stays fit. I hope he keeps this form up.
So, Bhuvi, Bumrah, Harshal is an automatic choice?
Of course.
I think so.
No doubt there.
Both of us being RCB fans, I know we're obviously going to say Harshal is an automatic choice.
I don't think RCB fan matters at this point. His results speak for himself. So.
I am not an IPL fan. I am rooting for Harshal.
Okay, Harshal. Who else? Then there's of course Hardik Pandya. Anybody else we would love to see in that squad who hasn't been there?
Look, I quite like the squad we have in this. Again, from a bowling perspective, we seem to be setting up fantastic bowling units. Batting needs tweaking as always, but I'm happy to have Chahal in there. He's a wily old fox, as they say, and Jadeja also providing a little bit of his slow bowling. I think is a great asset to our team. Particularly in Australia, I think this would be a very good squad to play with.
I'm also thinking about the question of Arshdeep Singh. I know we've only seen him for one T20 international, but I thought he bowled really well in the first one. So he could be another backup, just in case somebody goes down. Or
I think with COVID and the general luck that we seem to be having. I think we need to have like 2 backups for each spot, and we have the resources for doing that. So
I would have Arshdeep in there. I would have Bumrah in there. So the 3 of them pick 2 spots, right? Arshdeep, Bumrah, Bhuvi. Between the 3 of them, you pick 2.
I would add even Siraj there. I think he has that the bit of aggression that we need for a T20. That go get attitude. I think that he has. I think he should be there in the squad somewhere. Whether he plays or not is a different issue.
What I feel we need to do is give them a little bit of baptism by fire in Australian conditions, right? Because frankly, I don't know how successful an Arshdeep or Harshal, even for that matter, is going to be down under. I'm guessing as successful, but yeah.
Are we slotted to play any T20 series in Australia before the World Cup?
We are playing the Asia Cup, man.
In Australia?
No. That's our preparation.
How can our management ever not screw up something important?
Yeah.
Okay, just on the just coming back to the batting bit of it. It does seem like we had our opinions. Anybody else we should see there? Ishan Kishan? Or
I would want us to hastily drop Ishan Kishan and bring others into practice before that, because I believe Ishan Kishan is a player who performs exceedingly well when there's no expectations. Unfortunately, with important tournaments, we do have a lot of expectations. So he's never performed extraordinarily well when the pressure has been there. So I think we should groom him, but not before the end of year, right? So.
I think Samson, I have still a lot of hope with Samson. He has shown the maturity. I'm not talking about the scores as such, but the approach with which he is going in, I think he has shown a lot more maturity. I think he should be there in the mix somewhere. Maybe not in the first 11, but he should be there in the mix somewhere.
So do we agree Sky needs to be there?
Absolutely.
No brainer. Yeah.
I know, because I personally find Sky to be a really exciting batsman, somebody who's got his chance when he's nearing his 30s.
Yeah.
But I definitely think he deserves more chances, and it'll pain all of us if he gets dropped.
He has the right mix of maturity and aggression, I believe. And I think, I don't think he's getting dropped anytime soon.
Just one last question on the, as we look forward to the T20I World Cup. Who would be our spinner to combine with Chal? If Jadeja is one, but Jadeja is more like an all-rounder. Do we need to get anybody else?
In Australia, do we? I'm not sure we do.
Big grounds, so a leg spinner and off spinner as a combination, and people trying to be aggressive against them can get us wickets because the grounds are really big.
Yeah, I think it's a good question. I don't know. Maybe we could bring Akshar Patel in. I'm sure he'll be in the squad.
I would love to see Vishnu. Vishnu, I think, is another very exciting prospect for me. Leggy, groomed under Kumble for a bit.
Yeah.
But, okay. We are almost at the end of the show today. Any last comments before we close out?
I think it's been fantastic to meet you folks. And again, given the sort of scheduling India does, there's going to be a lot more cricket as usual, so we'll keep meeting up and hope to do a lot more in-person events, because it's been a lot more fun for me.
Yes.
Yes, same. I'm just excited to be together with people and talking about cricket, things we love, right? Meeting people and talking about cricket, I think that's great.
And then having a beer after this.
I'll stick to my lassi, but yes.
Alright, thank you gentlemen. Thank you for your time, for making it here. It's been a pleasure doing an in-person show. We would love to do more of in-person shows. We would love for you to watch it and support us. Till we meet again, take care everybody. Have a good rest of your day, rest of your week, and rest of the cricketing season.